Oh yeah, here we are. You know, I think, when I was in Israel, there was a lot of trash around as well. I think that was the Mohammedans as well, that they had this practice of going into the wild, the forest or whatever, mountains and all that, and then they would just leave their trash. Now, I just had a Mohammedan family gathering just outside here. There's a table, there's a place for the children and all that, and lo and behold, here we go again. It's not a surprise, they left their stuff. So the birds, I guess they are kind of getting finished, I guess, but there's still some birds standing at the table. So 2 birds on the table. That was a good amount of birds, the soda pops. There was at least 4 soda pops laying around the table, and there was bags, what do you call it, metal bags on the table and all. Well, it still is, But I'm like, is that like a tradition that the Mohammedans have, not just go out in the wild and enjoy yourself and then just forget your trash, because it seems to be like kind of a thing that Mohammedans tend to do, There was so much trash in Israel, I remember. It's like very sad in nature. You go out in nature and there's just trash all over. So, yeah. Yeah, interesting, Like they having a meal and all that, and the children is playing and all that, and then they just leave their stuff, And then you had a bird attack in some sense, like there's multiple birds that just went at it. So I guess they got something out of it, and I guess they have then further. Anyway, I just don't get it. There's trash cans pretty much everywhere over here. Well, it might not be next to the table, right? But it's pretty much just over here. And, it's like it's not and it's not a place where there isn't like in Israel, the excuse was kind of like, well, there's no place to put it, right? Oh well, you couldn't put it in your bag and take the bag with you. Apparently not. That was when I was out hiking, some of the places was just absolutely full of trash. It's very sad, and yeah. So, but it seems like to be a Mohammedan thing, apparently, or whatever you want to call it, to just do that, it's kind of weird, like a weird culture thing, Can't even find my binoculars anymore. Oh, I'm so tired as well. It's like, how is it that difficult just to take your stuff with you, instead of just laying it around, Maybe I'm just getting to be an old grumpy man. I don't know, but it just seems like kind of ridiculous to me. It shouldn't be that hard to just take. Anyway, where did I put my binoculars? So, but anyway, I guess the birds have pretty much sorted out whatever there is in regards of food, because there doesn't seem to be much interest from the birds anymore, so they should have taken what they want. It seems like my garlic has been pretty much dying. I don't know if they don't have any water. Is it? Yeah, whatever. Oh my. Oh well, I guess this is just how, the world we live in, So, doing a little, of course it's Friday today, so, Oh. Well, still a mess in here in regards to, there's not that much room in this apartment, Oh, we're closing for the Sabbath. It's Friday, so this is the preparation day. Here we have, what is it, Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah, has been 58 minutes ago, she's been on. I guess she's in England at the moment, you know. And she's apparently going to preach to some Roman papist. Oh yeah, that's a Catholic. Well, I'm not sure how, you know, you know, like people you can. It's just, and most people just want to run with the devil pretty much these days. It's like you can talk to them and talk to them and talk to them and talk to them, and it's like they're already
men and women.
They're already totally blind, you know. You can say you can sit with them and talk for years and years and years, but they can't even be honest in regards to what the text says, you know. Oh, this was in regards of the 5-point battle gangs of New York. It's interesting because when I saw the gangs of New York the first couple of times in my younger years, I guess, you kind of see the, you know, you kind of see the, I guess, the Irish Catholics as the good guys, and then you see the native Protestants as the bad guys. So, and of course, when you find out in regards of history, well, you kind of tend to wait a minute. Like, and actually, he has some pretty good stuff to say as well. You know, when they come in regards to all the Catholics, you know, because why are the Roman papists coming to a Protestant nation, or Protestant, you know, colonies, country, whatever you want to call it? Why would the papists come directly? It is a typical thing. These wolves in sheep clothing are always following, you know, Protestants around, Christians around, to do whatever they can to ruin everything. Like, is there any other place that these Irish people could have gone to? Like, is there any other Roman Catholic nation in the world that they could have gone to, maybe? You have whole South America, right? But they just had to come to the US. Like the Mexicans, the Roman papist Mexicans that are part of Latin America, they just have to get into the USA, which has been, you know, what do you call it, watered down on many levels in regards to Protestantism. So anyways, I guess this is the...
My challenge! By the ancient laws of combat, we have met at this chosen ground to settle for good and all who holds sway over the 5 points. Us natives.
So here we have the natives, born rightwise to this fine land.
Born rightwise to this fine land.
Yep.
Or
the foreign hoarders defiling it. Oh, here we have the birds again coming around. Apparently there's still some food on the table that they are going for, you know. Yeah, anyway.
Hordes defiling it.
Hey, they could have been a little further actually talking about the papists, because I'm sure somebody like Protestants with a Protestant past would have been using the word papist, right? Filthy Roman papist, because that is their first and foremost allegiance. Like every Roman Catholic has like 2 citizenships, and the Roman Catholic is, they follow the Pope. Their ruler is the Pope. Anyway, let's see what they say here.
Laws of combat. I accept the challenge of the so-called natives.
Oh, the so-called natives. So here we have the Irish Roman Catholics. Now, you tell me, what are the Irish Roman Catholics doing in a place where the Protestants were fleeing to get away from Roman Catholicism, and yet these Roman papists followed along? Why would they do that?
You plague our people at every turn, but from this day out, you shall plague us no more. For let it be known that the hand that tries to strike us from this land shall be swiftly cut down. And may the Christian Lord guide my hand against your Roman popery.
Oh, there we go. Against your Roman popery. There we go. Good. That's some good, that's some truth, in regards of Roman poopery, and I'm not condoning in regards to the violence here, but in regards to that's some truth in regards of that these Roman Catholics are coming to this place, and yeah, like the Mexicans in regards to the U.S. What do they have of it? Oh, all those refugees of no, actually, what do you call it? Invaders. All those invaders from Mexico coming into the U.S. Why are they allowed to do that? Well, because they're Roman papists, and the more Roman papists you can get into the U.S., the bigger the power the Roman Catholics has. Yeah. Because why not just stay in Mexico if you're a Roman papist? No, you have to just come to a land that was formerly Protestant, and now it has been so much, diluted down, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But as I understand it, the USA still have the Bible Belt, mostly in the south. That's where most of the Christians seems to be, not so much in the north apparently, which were the ones that won the fight, right? So in regards to anyway, that's a
prepare to receive the true Lord.
So again, here you see two groups, and one of them are clearly Roman Catholics. Those are the Irish, and then you have those that have been born in America, North America. Yeah, I'm not sure which year it is and all that in regards of, but anyway, like why would they come to the U.S.? Like couldn't they go to Argentina like the Nazis and the Ustashi and all those, that fled through the Vatican red lines, Oh, we couldn't do that? No. No, because maybe there's an agenda to have them come to the Protestant nations, like the Mohammedans as well. Oh yeah, Roman Catholicism loves to ruin everything. Let's get some more Mohammedans up to the west, right? Yeah. The Roman Catholics want this because this is the satanic agenda. Also to further intermix the races, or the tribes, whatever you want to call it. So they want to intermix it all and further, ruin the possibility of actually having some nations rising up against the Antichrist and his wicked system. So, like in Denmark, we actually, we threw Roman Catholicism out of the nation, But then you have the Freemasons coming in, which of course works for the Roman system. And we had that in Scandinavia, and you had it in the US, and they seem to have used somewhat of the same tactic in regards of the foundational law away from the law of God. So what do? You take the law of God, you trash it, and make your own laws. And then people think, oh, there was no laws before the foundational law in Denmark. Oh, really? It was called the kingly law, or the royal law, that was based heavily on the Bible. It wasn't totally perfect and all that, but it was a lot closer to the Bible. It's like had ingrained the 10 Commandments into the law itself. That is incredible. Although in regards to Sunday, of course, it's the first day and not the last day of the week and all that. And we still had some traditions that are from Rome, roll your boat down the bloody stream. So of course, Jesus didn't say we should go out and kill people and all that. But it is an interesting point of view in some sense, because you kind of see the Protestants as the evil people, right? And when you just see the movie without any history behind it in regards of what Roman poopery really is and how they work and so forward, and then all of a sudden really the bad guys becomes the good guys and the good guys becomes the bad guys. So So it kind of flips around, you know. Like, you know, you have an influx of Roman papists into and the former, you know, these Protestants had fled from this wicked system. They did not want anything to do. They had anti-Catholic laws in the colonies. There was 13 colonies as far as I recall. And there was anti-Catholic laws against this stinking system of Roman popery, you know. And it's like time works for the devil, because then all of a sudden people don't know much about the evil of Roman Catholicism, and yeah, boom, here we are. But again, why are the Roman Catholics coming to Protestant nations? If they want to be Roman Catholics, then go to Argentina, Latin America. You have the whole South America you can go to. I guess Canada might also have a good amount of, but anyway, like you have multiple nations in the world being Roman Catholic, then go to, you know, why come to a Protestant nation? Protestants who did not want anything to do with Roman popery. But as the devil, you know, always sends his foot soldiers, or whatever you want to call them. You see, we are the enemy. And the devil always sends his people against, you know, who stands against him. Okay. Alright.
Not before I got what's owed. No! It's fair. Touch it, delicate, but fair. I said this. What do we do in the morning? Look at me. Give him to the law. So he gets a good education. Okay, boy, said goodbye to your father.
So I guess it begins with this fight of theirs, and the Protestants pretty much wins, and the Irish is seen as the losers, and of course, and then it goes on and on in regards to the kings and all that. I wonder which year it is in regards to when it actually plays out. Let's see. (1862). So 1862, yeah. And then we have all the nations collected together, pretty much forced into that after the war and all that, and getting the English kicked out and all that. And the problem with this you know, it's the way of the Freemasons to make everything legal. Like, what does the Bible say about that, you know? Does it say, hey, choose whatever you want to worship, and no worries? I don't think that's what the law of God says. It says, don't have any other gods than me, right? So, but of course the Freemasons have been used on so many levels to make a foundational constitution. That's the word. There's another place where it talks about in regards to the gangs of New York, and I haven't seen it with my my eyes open in regards to how many goodies there might actually be, like in regards to poobery, in regards to talking about that these let's see if we can find that clip. So we have gangs of New York, Irish immigrant coming off the boat, and here we go with some wise words as well, if I can find it, if I can find the right one. Let's see if we got commercials, stupidity, wasting our time. Is it going to play or? Well, it seems to be playing, but I don't see anything, typically. It was opened in a small window, okay. They looked at the Irish coming off the boat and said, "What are you doing here?" It was chaos, tribal chaos. Gradually, there was a street by street, block by block, working out of democracy as people learned somehow to live together. If democracy didn't happen in New York, it wasn't going to happen anywhere. So, if that's the case, well then, maybe it should have been stopped, in regards of, because I guess what they mean with democracy is in regards of, let's get some more Roman papists. And a nice quote in regards.
That's the building of our country right there, Mr. Cuddy. Americans are borning.
I don't see no Americans. I see trespassers. Irish hops. Do a job for a nickel what a nigger does for a dime, and a white man used to get a quarter for. What have they done? Name one thing they've contributed. Votes. Votes who say? They vote how the Archbishop tells them, and who tells the Archbishop?
There we go, Archbishop, yeah. Because of course they're under their, priestess and bishops and cardinals, and of course the Antichrist, the Pope, and all that. And of course the Jesuits are already there as well at this time, So, being created in 1640 and all that. And they're of course still, they're working throughout history to gain the whole world and laid in front of the first beast. For the Pope, that's the first beast.
Their king in the pointy hat, what sits on his throne in Rome.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep, that's the Antichrist. You see some Protestant wonderful things that is coming out. There's another movie as well. That was in regards to Japan. You also see where you have the Catholic and the Protestant and the conflict between them at this Japanese thing and all that. That's also interesting. So it is somewhat coming out a little, and hopefully at some point it will just. But the sad thing is that at this point I think it's kind of too. When people wake up, we will have a bloodbath. Christians will be murdered and butchered and all that. So we'll see how things goes.
Bill's got mixed feelings as regards the Irish.
Bill.
And why does he have mixed feelings about the Irish? Because they're papists. They're Roman stinking papists. That's why. They're Roman Catholics.
Deliver these good and fervent folk to the polls on a regular basis, and there'll be a handsome price for each vote that goes Tammany's way.
My father gave his life making this country what it is. Murdered by the British with all of his men on the 25th of July, anno...
In regards to when they fought the British and all that. Actually, also being released by the British actually took some of the anti-papist laws away as well. So it's there's a lot of issues in regards to that. But you had the 13 colonies. That's where you want to go. That's where the Protestants, where the real Protestants, where there was some fire still in them, and they were going by the Bible, trying their best and all that. When the 13 colonies was around, and then you can begin to gather all the great, awesome anti-Catholic laws that the different Protestant nations had. You know, I think there's only one anti-Catholic law left in England or something like that. As far as I know, they removed, or maybe they actually just removed the last one not long ago. That was something in regards of it, I remember. And of course, Norway removed the Jesuit in 1956. That was in their constitution that Jesuits were not allowed on Norwegian land, which of course is part of Denmark, or was part of Denmark. So they got it from the Danish King Christian IV through the Jesuit Klosterlasse and whoever he might also have had with him out of the land. And he wrote letters to Norway that if Klosterlasse or any of his colleagues came by, they should immediately be kicked out. So.
Oh, Domini 1814. You think I'm gonna
1814. 1814? Okay.
You befoul his legacy by giving this country over to them what's had no hand in the fighting for it. Why? Because they come off a boat crawling with lice and begging you for soup.
You're a great one for the fighting, Bill, I know. But you can't fight forever.
I can go down doing it.
And you will.
What did you say?
I said you're turning your back on the future.
Not our future.
So, yeah. So in regards of, when you begin to look into it in regards of, you find out there's actually there's the Protestant side that is portrayed as the evil, and you have the Roman papists coming from the outside into the nation. And Roman Catholicism is like Mohammedanism. And no wonder people don't like to get these stinking religions of the devil into their nations. Now, Roman Catholicism is, of course, much worse. Well, it's much worse in regards of its deception. Mohammedanism is pretty clear. But they have so many things in common, So, yeah, that's interesting that we have some of the Protestant Catholic conflicts, and it could be interesting to chop out all those wonderful pieces. I have another movie, and of course, if I took the Japanese, if you actually took all the good quotes from the different movies and just put them together, you could get, that was a Titanic. I need to write it down. As the Titanic, you also could see some Protestant Catholic. Let's see here. So we have Gangs of New York. And we had Titanic. Yeah, I can remember Titanic. That was also where you saw some Catholics and Protestants. Titanic. It was not the standard Titanic. It was a kind of another kind of thing. But you also saw some Protestant Catholic thing there. Then I had the thing from that movie. There's also a conflict between a Catholic and a Protestant where, you have things. They could just make some movies of, there's lots of good stories they could make, from Fox's Book of Martyrs. But, of course, who runs the, apparently, why don't we have any information? We could have so much information in regards to true information, and yet we are so ignorant these days. How's that? How can that be? Okay, Gangs of New York, and we got Titanic thing, and then we had the Japanese thing that I think it might actually be a series, Japanese, but at least I think I've seen a couple of these anti-Catholic, Protestant conflict with Roman Catholics. And it's just nice to see, there was a conflict. And there's a conflict if you're really a Protestant. Most of the Protestants today are not really Protestants, because of Protestant protest. You see much protest against the Antichrist. Do people even know who the Antichrist is anymore? Nope. So, and all those wonderful anti-Catholic laws that one could also investigate. in regards to the 13 colonies, in regards of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and England, and Scotland. And I guess Ireland must also have, because you have some of the Irish that actually also were Protestant. So in today you still have the, I think it's the northern area of Ireland that is Protestant, and then the rest is Catholic. So, but yeah, anyway. You know, if it was the Irish Protestants that came to the US, right, one could understand it, right? You know, because they would then be going to where there's a lot of Protestants already. So. See here what this is.
3 Best Actor Oscars across 3 different decades, a handful of the most iconic performances ever seen on screen, and the honor of knighthood. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of a kind. When discussing the greatest actors of all time, 2 names often come up, Marlon Brando and Daniel Day-Lewis. Brando was a pioneer of method acting, a form of acting in which one understands and truly embodies the character. But Brando walked so Day-Lewis could run, because Daniel Day-Lewis truly transforms into his characters with an unmatched level of intensity both on and off screen. We're talking about only using 1 foot while on set, spending a few days in a jail cell, and even dedicating a year to learning how to make dresses for a role. There's a list of extraordinary things he has done to prepare or immerse himself in a character that I had to triple check to make sure I was reading it right. This is by far the most interesting video we've made about a person, a prestigious and private actor so selective that he has only starred in 6 films this century. So in this video we're
So yeah, it could be interesting just to make a collection of all the Protestant, Catholic, just to show people that yeah, if people like get one conflict after another, you know, seeing the conflict, you know, then they might, you know, begin to wait a minute. Why are they showing these conflicts between Catholic, and what is actually the conflict between the? And again, it becomes quite elusive. But if you kind of fix it also with the real, you know, it's just sad that no one has made, you know, there's a lot of stories in Fox's Book of Martyrs. You could make some pretty good historical, truthful, you know, good with information and all that horror movies, you know, because Roman Catholicism is the devil's system, and it murders and it kills and all that. Anyway, so anyway, I ordered a little food, and I still have some ketchup, although not the good ketchup or the too good ketchup, but I still have some ketchup. You know, the cheap ketchup is just so bad, you know. I don't, you know, you look at what is actually on the ingredients, and it doesn't really sound that bad, you know. It just tastes awful, and it smells awful as well. So I don't know what they did with that ketchup, but I guess you pay, you know, you get what you pay for, right? And it was very, very cheap. Anyway, here we have a Roman Catholic priest rebukes for their disobedience and Jesus. Let's see what Sarah is. No, she's clearly out there, and.
I see your pain.
No.
I'm trying to hide it.
Jesus, save my soul. I don't think I'm God. I follow God. I follow Christ. But you want to be your own gods. You want to be your own gods. Okay, so, sir, according to the Catholic Church, can you tell me how we get saved?
So, tell an elderly man. Bully an elderly man.
I might save his soul.
Oh, talk to me, will you?
Oh my goodness. I just said, I don't want to talk about camera.
You haven't got the power.
I don't have the power. You're absolutely right. I do not have the power. See, the devil has his minions around because he doesn't want the truth preached. Sir, John the Baptist is not the way to Jesus. Jesus is the way to the Father. There's no other way to be saved.
I have the Catholic with one of these icons. They really love this Queen of the Heavens bullshit, which of course the Israelites were punished to do. You know, I think they called her Astarte or Astaroth in the Bible, in regards to the so-called Queen of the Heavens. Now, this diabolical bullshit is known by many names throughout the world, and I guess the most popular version is just today called Mary. You know, You have how many? 1.4 billion Roman Catholics, nearly. I think it is. I think it's 1.37 whatever billion Catholics today, and of course you have the Mohammedans as well. They also digging Mary, so-called Mary, and all that. So that's over 3 billion people who are into all this Mary bullshit. So it's not Mary. You just took some pagan satanic bullshit, put a stamp on it, called it Mary, and there you go. Now she's also known as Venus. She's known as Ishtar. She's known as Inanna, and you can take a whole list of names in regards to this satanic bullshit. She's known by many, many names. Well, so-called she, and if you listen to the messages that is given by this diabolical entity, you can see that this respond to that she says that she's known by many names out in the world, which also fits if you search from the other side. So if you search from this side and this side, you actually have a match. Yeah, that it's confirming from both sides that, yeah. So it's, as far as I know, the Jews, although there's different kinds of, Jews in regards to different belief and all that. And you have 49% of the Jews not even being believers in anything. But as far as I know, they actually call her Shekinah in Jewish mysticism. And when they do the sexual thing and all that, and, the consort of God, apparently. Shekinah, okay. Well, anyway. Now, again, there's different variations of things and all that, but,
John the Baptist prepared the way.
It was a fulfillment of the Old Testament.
He said in the New Testament.
Oh, I'm so sick and tired of, it's like, I'm so sick and tired of, people just, they run around with bullshit, And it's just disgusting. You get tired of it, and so, it wears you down, You try, and you find out the world is full of bullshitters, Yeah. Who is Jesus? Well, Jesus is God. That is what he claimed, and that is why he died, because he was sentenced to death for blasphemy. Yeah. And then you have people that, they don't even want to be honest with what, one thing is to believe it, right? In regards of, or not believe it, right? But another thing is to be totally dishonest, to misquote or mistreat the Bible, Like at least, if it says that, it does say that Jesus says that he is the first and the last, the one who died and became to, the firstborn of the dead and all that, and the first and the last, the olive and the top and all that, the living one and all that. These are titles of God. Anyway, it's like all over. If you do not believe that I am, you shall die in your sins. What are you saying? If you don't believe that I am, we can, they could see him, they could speak to him and all that. Like, give me a break, That was like a further depthness of things. I was just sick and tired of bullshitters. Oh, Jesus never said that he was God. Really? Oh my. It's so terrible. One thing is to say, I just can't do it. Anyway, so it's closing for the Sabbath. I'm going to get some food soon, I think. And apparently not. Apparently it's still a good amount of time for it. I guess they are busy at these times and all that. So apparently there's still some time before, apparently, according to this. Although maybe they don't have follow thing, on, who knows. I just eat and see if I can get some sleep, and hopefully no one is going to have any party tonight. But you never know. That's kind of a thing, so you don't get sleep, and then you get very tired, and you get totally ruined, and your brain doesn't work very good, and etc. Anyway, I think I'm done now. May Jehovah be with you, and Yeshua, most precious pearl, and the Spirit of truth be in us all. Amen. Have a good one.